Hey guys, so I'm trying to make a video using QuickTime Player because I want to show you some features using Google Earth on the surface of the planet that are just kind of cool features that I really need you to know about. A lot of these features are a result of erosion and deposition on our planet. So let's see how this works. First place that I want to take you is the Grand Canyon. If I can get this to work here, I want to take a look at canyons. And you can see here, you can see that this is the outline of the Colorado River. So I want to kind of drill down into there. Kind of get over to here a little bit. And canyons are formed, there it is, there's the Colorado River. Canyons are formed as a river cuts through rock, and they get bigger as time goes on. And you can see I'm following the Colorado River. Right here, you can see here, let me get a little closer. Here's an area of rapids, and what's kind of cool about Google Earth is we can take this slider bar up here and we can go back in time and we can look at these rapids back in time. This is 2007. Looks like I can go clear back to 1992. Gets me into a black and white photo, but doing this traveling back in time feature on Google Earth might allow me to maybe measure the width of the river or maybe the depth of the ravine. You know, I have those kinds of options. Let me take it back up to 2014. So the Colorado River has basically cut through layers of rock and created this massive canyon. This Grand Canyon is like one of the largest canyon systems in the world. So I just wanted to show you that water has the power to do this, to cut through. So let me give you a technical definition. Hopefully I can put it up on screen for you, that a canyon is formed by erosion from a river cutting through rock. So I'll try to put that up on the screen for you. Now I'm going to try to take you to a canyon. No, that's not true. I messed up. I said canyon because in the last clip I said the word canyon really weird, so I apologize for my weird pronunciation of the word canyon. I'm actually going to take you to a valley. And a valley is formed when a river flows through a low area of land in between mountains. So I'm in this Khumbu Valley, and if I back up a little bit, you can probably guess where I am because you've seen this before. Aha, that is right. I am at a continental convergent boundary right here where India is slamming into this continent up here and forming the Himalayas. And if we drill down into the Himalayas, in the lower parts of the Himalayas, we can see rivers going through in between these mountains. It's really hard to see. This is treacherous. Okay, so right here is a river, and I'm going to try to drill down into that river so we can see a valley that river's cutting. Now this is a pretty active river. It's not a slow river. It moves with a lot of force and carries a large load in it. And any houses that we see right in here are not built on flat land. They're actually built up on the sides. This is not smooth and flat like we might think a valley might be. It's actually pretty rocky. So a valley is another feature that is caused by water running through it. Not sure what happened there. So another erosional feature here, a valley. So valleys are formed when a river flows through a low area of land in between mountains. So this is in Nepal. Now we are going to look at a floodplain. And where we are to look at this floodplain is, you probably recognize this as Africa and Saudi Arabia, and we're actually going to look at the Nile River. Now, I want to give you a definition of a floodplain. A floodplain or floodplains are flat areas of land formed by many layers of deposited sediment. These areas are very fertile, and as a river floods its bank, it deposits its organic material on either side of the river, so it makes this a very fertile area. So I'm going to drill down here and look at the Nile. So the Nile has basically flooded its banks many times and over again, and it's deposited its sediments, and those sediments often include organic material, and that organic material is deposited on both sides of the river, and it makes this area extremely fertile. What's really cool about this is it's actually desert here and desert here, but on the banks of the Nile River, because it's a floodplain and sediment and organic material has been deposited over and over again, it makes it an excellent area for farming. And so tons of cultures have been able to survive in this Nile floodplain because of the fertile soil. So that is what a floodplain is. So I'm having way too much fun here. All right, so I'm going to stay in the Nile River here. So still in Africa, Red Sea here, and Saudi Arabia here. I'm going to focus on the Nile River. This is a really good shot of it. And you can see at the mouth of the Nile River, you can see its delta. And that's going into here, the Mediterranean Sea, which is a still moving sea. So I want to focus on deltas right now. And a delta is a fan-shaped pattern of deposited sediment from a river or a stream. So this fan-shaped cone pattern here is basically where the Nile has slowed down and it's like dropping its sediments here. And if you drill in very closely here, you can see where the Nile, up here, sort of snakes off into, look at this, it's snaking off here and it's snaking off here, and it's basically dropping sediment, making this delta area also extremely fertile. So I want to pull back and look at the shoreline here. You can look at some of the sediment load is actually going into the Mediterranean Sea. This also might be maybe sand blown from over here, blown into this. But what's kind of cool, now I can only go back to 1972, but I'm going to travel back in time a little bit. And keep your eye on maybe this area here, this corn, and maybe this area here, and see if we can see a difference in, maybe that's filled in a little bit more. So we go back in time, let's go back to 1972. So you don't really see, I don't know if it's quality of picture, but you don't really see as much sediment in the water, but maybe these areas are filled in a little bit more with some of the deposits from the Nile. Let's go back up to 2016. So maybe filled in a little bit more here. It's hard to tell. Anyway, this is a delta. So once again, a delta is a fan-shaped pattern of deposited sediment or whatever load comes from the river or stream. For the Nile, it could be organic matter as well. Still having lots of fun. Along the same lines of a delta, we're going to look at something that's kind of like a delta, only a little bit different. We're going to look at something called an alluvial fan. Okay, and you can see that I'm zoomed in on something called the alluvial fan trail. And you can notice how it kind of maybe has the shape of that delta. And I think what's happening here is we've got a river that we'll trace back. Okay, we're in Colorado, by the way. And this river, I don't know if you can tell, but this is kind of coming off of a mountain. And it's picking up sediment, and I'm going back down toward the alluvial fan, but it's actually like kind of ending. This river's like getting drying up and not moving a whole lot. There you can get a good picture of it, maybe. And then it's basically just kind of, dropping its sediments out and into this shape that kind of looks like a fan. So the technical definition of alluvial fan is alluvial fans are deposits of sediment that form on dry land. So this is different because it's not going into water. It's just like kind of laying there on dry land. And you can see that we've basically constructed a road through this alluvial fan. There's a trail, people go hiking through it. You can see parking right here. But this is just sediment that used to be, that was kind of eroded off of a higher point, like a mountain, and it's just been deposited here. So that's kind of cool. So that's an alluvial fan. I've left the alluvial fan here, and now you can see I'm zoomed in on South America. And this is actually the second time I've recorded this particular clip because I keep saying Nile, and I mean to say Amazon. I want to look right here at the Amazon River. So if I accidentally say Nile, I'm really sorry. I'm at the Amazon River. I think, well, it's one of the biggest rivers in the world. It could be the biggest. I don't know, maybe. So I want to look right here, and first of all, if you look at the coastline here, I don't know why Google Earth is doing this weird pixelated pattern on the coastline. It's really making me mad, but you can see the mouth of the Amazon, and I like to drill down here and look at all this sediment that's going out, washing out into the ocean. And you can also see all these really cool little tributaries in here that's washing out that way. Water flows from high to low, so these tributaries are probably at a higher elevation going down this way and going out to the sea. So anyway, the reason why I wanted to look at the Amazon was because I wanted you to notice, and I'll go down a little further here, I wanted you to notice some of these weird little twists and turns and curves that the Amazon takes. And these little unpredictable little curves are called meanders. And the technical definition of a meander is meanders are curves in relatively flat areas, such as floodplains. And this is a relatively flat area. And these are floodplains. It's probably very fertile here, Amazon rainforest. Anyway, meanders are curves in relatively flat areas, such as a floodplain, and where sediment consists primarily of fine sand and silt and mud. So meanders are just basically like little weird twists and turns that a river might take. And these meanders are, excuse me, going to come into play at our next spot. Of course, I start to lose my voice right in the middle of it. So these are meanders, and this is the Amazon. Pretty cool river. Really high sediment, though. It's very turbid looking. A lot of high turbidity, a lot of sediment in it. It's kind of brown looking. Okay, next stop. Left South America, and now I'm looking at the United States. And basically what I want to look at is right here, and that's the Mississippi River. And you can see as I get a little closer to the Mississippi River that it has lots of different meanders. You see this? And you can also see places where the Mississippi River has flooded its banks and used to be out here, and it's made these nice little floodplains. But basically right now, at the time of this Google Earth recording, this is the Mississippi River. And you can see meanders, but what I want to focus on, something really cool, this lake right here, this is called Lake Chico, and this is a really good example of something called an oxbow lake. And basically what an oxbow lake is it literally used to be part of the main river, and it has been cut off from the main river, and now it's just this weird shaped lake, and they call it an oxbow lake. So basically the steps that led to this happening is on the inside loop, the river travels a little bit more slowly, leading to deposition of silt. Meanwhile, the water on the outside edges tends to flow faster, which erodes the bank, making the meander even wider. So making this part even wider. And over time, the loop of the meander widens until the neck vanishes altogether. Then the meander is removed from the river's current and the horseshoe-shaped oxbow lake is formed. Without a current to move the water along, sediment builds up along the banks and fills in the lake. So you can see, if we drill back, it looks like this used to be an oxbow lake here, and it looks like this right here is starting to turn into an oxbow lake. So this is going to end up getting occluded right here and right here, and that's going to be an oxbow lake. So if we look back through here, we can kind of see all through here older oxbow lakes that are starting to form. Looks like maybe that could be one, I'm not sure. So kind of a cool feature. And then we can look at that oxbow lake. I can zoom in on it a little bit more, and we can look at it back through time. Like I can take you back as far as 1984. So this is still occluded. Maybe not as maybe a little bit more narrow there. And I can bring you back up to 2016. You can compare that. Looks like it's maybe a little thinner there. All right, so that's an oxbow lake. Okay, so now you've seen some features on the Earth that are here as a result of erosion and deposition. Next, I'm going to show you a screen of 10 vocabulary words. I think I said I was going to put definitions of words on the screen, but I didn't do that. So you have to get the definitions from me talking. So next you're going to see a screen with 10 vocabulary words on it. You need to take a piece of notebook paper, put your name on it, your class period, write those 10 vocabulary words, and next to the words, put the definition. A picture would be nice too. You can use the definitions that I gave you from this video, or you can look your definitions up. Thanks for watching.